Hello, this is Melissa King, and today we're going to look at how to plan station rotations in a quick video. Here is the link for today's resources. So the first step in planning is, of course, knowing how many stations that you'd like to have. So I've developed just a very quick 3-step process, and we're going to base this off of 3 stations. So step 1 would be define the standard focus. Now, looking at the clusters of grade level emphasis for grade 2 and 3, I have chosen 2 standards both under the same strand. I've put the standards here. So my standard for 2nd grade is going to be numbers and operation in base 10, and we're going to look at understanding place value, which when we unpack the standard, it describes that more and what students need to do with that standard. This could take several days, of course, because these are they're 4 different points. In connection to 1st grade, I'm going to remember that in 1st grade, they also had a similar standard on exposure. And then as I have a combo class that I'm planning for, connection to 3rd grade is place value will be the standard. So it's still going to be MBT 1 focus. However, this is for 3rd grade. And when they get to 3rd grade, they begin rounding whole numbers to the nearest 10 or 100. So I'm going to use that one for 3rd grade in my combo class, and then I'm going to use that 2nd grade standard for the others in my combo class. So knowing that, that is step 1. Step number 2, I have defined objectives and guiding questions. So the objective for 2nd grade will be that students will understand place value. The value of a digit depends on its place or position in a number, and students will represent these numbers up to 999 using models and expanded form. My guiding question is here. What is the place value of each digit in a 3-digit number? And then my 3rd grade students in my combo class will be looking at understanding place value to round whole numbers, like stated in the standard above. And then their guiding question is, what is the nearest whole number when a number is rounded to the nearest 10 or 100? Step 3, looking at the stations. So there's 2 sets of stations going on here because of the combo classes. They are very, very similar. So I try to have it to where I modify just a tad bit, but really the strategies in place can be used whether it's the 2nd or the 3rd graders. So first of all, they'll both have small group instruction. So if I have 3 stations, one's going to be small group, one is going to be computer based, and one is going to be an independent at your seat kind of working independently station. I'll have the same for 2nd and the same for 3rd. So as my groups rotate, no matter what station they're on, they know what to do. And so if there's 3 stations, it honestly, it would not matter if at the independent station there's 2nd and 3rd graders, because they can both be at that station, but they'll both have their own independent work to do. Same thing with computer-based station. They can both be at that station, but they both have just a tad difference in the way that I assign their computer-based station to them. So in the background, though, here's the planning. So the small group instruction, the teacher is going to lead a small group lesson, and when she has the 2nd graders, he or she will do the following. So show a card with a 3-digit number to the students in the small group. Students will then represent that number with manipulatives because this is the 2nd grade group. And then students are going to use their whiteboards as, or just a piece of paper, whatever that you have, to write the number as an addition sentence in expanded form to tie in that expanded form piece. Then we'll continue with this lesson in the small group as students have larger numbers and just fill the gaps that we see and sort of scaffold out in that small group. A note here is that for the low group, this group would benefit possibly from using color coding for place values, and they'll probably need to definitely begin with 2-digit examples first. So, and I would probably say that might be every station just to see where they are on this. Then you'll have your on grade level group that will do that lesson. But for your high group of second graders, you can challenge this group when you see them. So that way the cards maybe have expanded form written first, and then they have to flip it around. So they have to write the digit when you show them the expanded form, if you notice that they're ready for this, and then they can still model this with manipulatives. This group might be ready for 4-digit numbers as well. Even though it's not in their standard, we know we have some students that might benefit from that little extra enrichment. So then we have computer-based station for second grade. And there's a Jamboard that I created for this, which you can assign on Google Classroom or Seesaw. And then if you're using Seesaw, this would be a great opportunity to have students using their voice recorder tools, because they can record and explain their answer. So you'll see that the sticky note shows a number, and it's their job to just click and drag. So they would just click and drag to show, and all of these are movable pieces. So they're going to show that number using these manipulatives. And then they're also going to write in expanded form the number that's shown on the sticky. And then every frame is showing a different number, but it's the same format. And I have 9 on here. You can always add more. So besides the computer-based station, the independent station, this is a great station for introducing vocabulary, or for working on a math book that you have been assigning. A digital text might be an option if you don't care having your independent station also be tech. But we want to think about blending. So I just pulled some things just for you to see. This is just something offline, and it's just spiral math. So something independent station would be great if it is spiral, because they don't need your help with a new concept. So this right here is a little mini book. So you might have a mini book where they're filling out the math review or the math from today. So it really depends on where you are. This might be too much for your second graders. This might be good for your third graders, because this is spiral review for them, or of other standards that you've already had this year, but these are just some ideas. So the third grade combo class is going to look the same, really, but just a little bit different wording. So small group instruction, when the teacher calls the third grade students to her table for small group time, he or she will show the 2-digit number card. Students use strategies to round to the nearest 10 or 100. Students use whiteboards to solve the problem and draw number line. You might want to use actual physical sentence strips or laminated number lines at this station, and then continue the lesson. For the low group, let's pay attention that they would benefit from possible color coding of place value, so the same strategy, and also just having that physical number line instead of having them draw one. And then the high group, to challenge this group as you scaffold, you can show them cards that have a number in word form, or even a word problem that they need to round. And you could increase them to 4 digits if they are ready. Their computer-based station will be a Jamboard as well. Theirs just looks, of course, different because it's rounding. So they'll have a number, and the first time they're going to round it to the nearest 10. So they would round it to the nearest 10 place, so it's going to be 40, and then round to the nearest 100 with 44. So 44 is going to be way down here, and so they can show that it's closer to 0 than it is to 100. This has other frames as well. You can add anything that you'd like. This is just an example. They're independent stations, same thing, a great chance for spiral review or a math workbook that you already have. So not to do any more planning. You're just taking what planning that you have and using it for your small group lesson. Hopefully this answers some questions as you begin to plan station rotation and implement it with your scholars. Have a wonderful day.